Hello, gentlemen. There's a lot of issues I want to explore with you about this gold breakout and the dollar decline and the rumors coming out of the OPEC countries that the dollar is going to lose its reserve status. Where there's smoke, there's always fire. But I want to begin with this. Don Luskin, let me go to you. Who's right and who's wrong? The Fed is fighting deflation. You know the arguments: high unemployment, unused resource capacity utilization, or whatever Phillips curve nonsense that they preach. But they're fighting deflation, and that's why the interest rate is still zero. The markets are sending a different signal, Don Luskin. Who's right and who's wrong?
I don't think it's a question of who's right and who's wrong. I think the Fed is right to fight deflation, not for those reasons you gave, all those so-called output gap arguments. That's never led to inflation or deflation. What creates deflation is fear, it's demand for money. We've just been through a year of incredible fear where people around the world have wanted money, 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 so the Fed has had to print it in order to fight off deflation. Now, the inflation signs that we're seeing now, gold making new highs, the dollar falling off its highs from a year ago, April, that is simply the sign that the Fed is winning the war against deflation. So a little bit goes a long way, to be sure, and they're going to have an exit strategy. But there's no contradiction. This means the Fed is winning the war against deflation, and that's great, thankful news.
You know, you have deflation and inflation. It's got to be one or the other, gentlemen. I'm having trouble with this. At the end of the day, it's got to be one or the other.
A choice. It's like being at a restaurant where you're brought a menu. There are two items on the menu. There's the crisis of deflation or the mere problem of inflation. And believe me, you will order the problem of inflation. That's what the Fed is doing. It is deliberately creating this inflation. It can see the gold price just like you can. And to the Fed, that is great news. It means they're winning the war. Be thankful for it.
Yeah, but they're going to lose the inflation war. Michael Luskin, let me switch to you. You're a big gold bull, and you've been correct. Now, is gold rising because there's too many dollars being printed by the Fed and an inattention to the value of the dollar by the Treasury, a kind of benign neglect, or maybe it's malign neglect? Or is it because the dollar risks losing its perch as the world's reserve currency, what some people call the Armageddon scenario, Don? Which is it?
I think these are all, in a way, different ways of saying the same thing. Gold is simply saying that the purchasing power of the dollar, I should be clear here, gold priced in dollars is saying that the purchasing power of the dollar is right now, on an expectations basis, at all-time lows. That's because gold is at all-time highs. That's all it's saying. And if that has to do with the loss of our reserve status because we inflate our way out of deserving to have that status, then that's part of it. If it's the Fed that's just trying to stimulate our way to some kind of recovery, then that's part of it. It's all part of the same jigsaw puzzle. So, again, this is the price we pay for having gone from a sharp recession, not to a depression, but to some kind of recovery after facing the worst financial crisis in 80 years. There's no such thing as a free bailout. Our price is going to be inflation. I'm not advocating that. I don't like that. I'm not saying that we're about to go into deflation. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm saying that inflation is the medicine we're being given. It will have side effects. It's not perfect, but I'd rather have that than go back into a deflationary depression, which is where we were just 9 months ago.
John, what do they call the dollar in Asia? You've been traveling there.
Well, they've been called the Pelosi currency.
The Pelosi dollar? Did I hear that? Wait a minute. Right. I got to get some opinions here. John Tamny, the Pelosi dollar. Please weigh in quickly.
I want to say Geithner dollar.
The Geithner dollar.
Just
Don
as bad.
Luskin, the Pelosi dollar. This is right up your alley, Don. Weigh in quickly.
Oh, my God, I can't. I'm going to hang myself. This is the Pelosi dollar.
Michael, that becomes a political issue. Don Luskin, you agree with $2,300 for gold? It's just under $1,050 right now.
Yeah, I think we get to $1,300 by the end of the year, and then let's see where we go.